Hi, Professor Christina here, and today we're going to talk about the basics of customer journey mapping. Wouldn't you love to know how customers actually find you? You probably have that data. After all, you know how many people are clicking on your Instagram ads, you know how many people are opening your email newsletter, but how are they really finding you? What's going through their minds? What are the steps that they take? We all know that we are inundated with marketing messages, and so when we start a marketing campaign, we know that we're going to need to keep repeating the message in that campaign and get seen multiple different times in order to break through all of the noise and reach our customers. We also know that we already have other existing marketing out there, whether it's another campaign or just our general constant brand awareness messaging or our website, our social media presence, even word of mouth that's getting through to customers and either amplifying or contradicting the messages in the specific campaign that we're trying to measure. So we need to be able to map the customer's journey from the moment they haven't even heard of us yet, or if we're a famous brand, haven't started considering making a purchase, all the way through to when they make a purchase or engage with us in some other way, if we're a nonprofit like volunteering or donating, and all the way through to becoming a loyal customer and bringing other customers on board. The process of identifying all of those different touch points is called customer journey mapping. Now, you may know about or have learned about in this series of videos multi-touch attribution and multi-touch measurement. That's when you measure all of the different marketing touches that a consumer might engage with before the point of conversion. Customer journey mapping integrates multi-touch measurement, but it takes it a step further because it doesn't just look at the different marketing touch points that a consumer engages in, but it also looks at every aspect of their experience on the path to conversion and beyond into being a satisfied customer. Let's take an example. Let's say you own a candy store. Your customer multi-touch modeling, multi-touch attribution may look at an Instagram ad that you put out as part of an advertising campaign that showed some of the new low sugar candies that you have in stock. Maybe a customer later on engaged with a loyalty email that was a coupon for buy one box of chocolates, get one free. And then finally they came into the store, scanned a QR code to get another coupon, and then redeemed that, making a purchase. Those are all of the touch points that they had. But that only tells part of the story of the customer experience of journeying from non-customer or occasional customer to full-on customer. What does that journey look like? Well, it might look like the customer sitting around their kitchen table realizing that Halloween is just around the corner and thinking about what kind of candy they're going to need to give out to trick-or-treaters or at their upcoming party. It could involve them looking at TV commercials for online merchants who compete with you directly, but instead seeing your Instagram ad and being intrigued by it. It involves them putting their phone away, thinking about dinner, thinking maybe they'll just pick up some regular mass market candy at the supermarket, seeing that display, deciding that they want something a little bit more special, and then opening an email from you because they once signed up for your emails a couple of days later, being reminded of your store, and then deciding to go into the store. It also involves all of their actions after those marketing touch points have made them a consumer. It involves them distributing the candy to trick-or-treaters or at their party, telling people who ask, oh, this candy is delicious, where did you get it, that they bought it from you. And it involves maybe making a repeat purchase to buy a special gift for a friend's anniversary or baby shower. All of those engagements go beyond the marketing campaign touch points or any marketing touch points that you're producing as a company, and instead look at the customer's entire journey engaging with your brand. That is customer journey mapping. Now, how do you do it? A lot of times you start with the marketing data that you have. All of that multi-channel, multi-touch measurement comes into play, and you can start to stake out the different steps that you know about because you've already measured them through your campaign reporting and your marketing reporting. But seldom does that present the entire picture. So in order to engage in effective customer journey mapping, you need to leverage several other strategies. One is simple empathy. Think about your own experience as a consumer and think about the different steps you might take to engage with a brand. But that would still just be supposition. It's better than nothing, and a lot of brands often start there with that empathy to engage in customer journey mapping. But it's always better to have data to inform your customer journey mapping. You might use surveys to ask customers what other brands they have considered and what context they're seeing those other competing brands in, so you can understand that part of the customer journey when they consider a competing product. You might use a focus group to gather that data, but also hear directly from consumers in a holistic way about their entire customer journey instead of just surveying them about specific aspects of it like your competing brands. You might send secret shoppers into stores to gather direct data about the part of the customer journey that takes place in the store, what kind of customer service people see, what kind of merchandising and displays they encounter, what kind of store signage prompts them to buy. That's especially useful when you don't have digital metrics on all of those things. There's a lot of different ways you can gather data on your customer journey. Surveys, secret shoppers, focus groups are among them. Some companies use location-based tracking, like Bluetooth tracking, to see how people move about physically in their stores. But you don't have to resort to something that intrusive. Oftentimes, you just need to find a mechanism for asking your customers, whether that's a focus group, a survey, or customer service calls, and asking them a little bit more about their experience. However you gather that data, the important thing is you use it to map out a specific journey for your customers. Now, we all know that no two customers are alike. So how many customer journey maps do you need? You can't map every single customer's journey from the moment they start thinking about you to the moment they become a customer advocate and start telling their friends about you. So how can you have a robust number of customer journey maps that allows you to understand the customer journey enough that you can differentiate between different types of journeys different customers are having, but not so many that you've got literally millions of them? The easiest way is to segment by your existing customer segments. So let's say, for instance, you're that candy store and you have 5 major customer segments. People who buy for special occasions, people who buy to reward themselves, regular shoppers who have to supply something like an office candy dish and are more of a B2B buyer, people who buy only on holidays, and people who just regularly go into the store and make a small purchase, maybe for themselves for the week to have something to snack on. You can start by mapping those particular segments and creating a customer journey map for each one. You might find they all have a very similar journey. You might not need that many customer journey maps, but you may also find that within those segments there are 2 or 3 different kinds of customer journeys. Those journeys can vary depending on what the start point is or what the end point is. Within each segment, for instance, you might have one journey for the satisfied customer that ends with them telling their friends about your product, and one journey for the unsatisfied customer that ends with them going over to one of your competitors. You might also have different journeys within each segment for people in different geographic locations, people at different income levels, people of different ages or genders, or people who shop low sugar versus regular sugar content. The choice is up to you. You may decide in the process of customer journey mapping, in fact, that you have more segments than you realized and you don't have 5 segments but 10, and that's okay too. In fact, it's one of the benefits of customer journey mapping. In fact, customer journey mapping allows you to see your customers in such a new light that its benefits flow to understanding your customers, understanding your segmentation, understanding your branding and what brand values are important to your different segments, as well as understanding the overall impact of your marketing. From a standpoint of campaign management and campaign metrics, though, customer journey mapping plays a vital role in helping you understand what are the decision points that a customer makes where your campaign needs to be present and in front of them. Let's say, for instance, that your current campaign is focused on social media alone, but through customer journey mapping, you have now discovered that customers are shopping in mass market merchandisers and considering your mass market competitors. That may mean that you need to resort to out-of-home signage or better merchandising within mass market stores in order to get in front of those customers at the right point in the journey. So when you are coming up with your campaign strategy and your campaign plan, the customer journey map will tell you what channels are going to be the most effective for your campaign, what inflection points and decision points do you need to be in front of the consumer during in order for the campaign to be effective, and what happens post-campaign that can become the basis for a future campaign. In other words, how, for instance, can you leverage those satisfied customers' word of mouth in a campaign that drives more customers to your door? And how can you get more of those unsatisfied customers to come back to you, perhaps with a re-engagement campaign aimed directly at them and their concerns? So when it comes to campaign metrics and campaign strategy, the customer journey map is invaluable. But since it's a critical part of your overall marketing and frankly your overall business strategy, it's something that you really want to invest the time and energy to do right. So go ahead and use all of the campaign data that you have, all of the multi-channel and multi-touch measurements that you have, but look beyond that to other sources of data as well. You'll be rewarded with a rich set of customer journey maps that help you not only create better campaigns, but also understand your relationship with your customers, the needs of your customers, and how to grow your business better than ever before. What could be better than that? I'm Christina Inge. It's been a joy sharing customer journey mapping with you and hopefully helping you develop better journey mapping strategies.